I've got these brackets here that I've welded up already, and it's for a Ford Falcon trailing arm, and this will bolt on there. This end of the pipe then gets welded onto it, and then this guy also gets welded into the end of that. But it's all got to be cut to length and measured, and angles and all sorts of stuff for the anti-squat ride height and the tyres that I'm using, so that I can have the hub at the right height so the trailing arm can be welded in the right place. This is the original trailing arms that come with this Ford Territory rear end, and they would sit up like that pretty much. We thought about flipping them, and yeah, that would probably work. Then I got that nice gap in there for the travel, but then I would have to make so much more box section and fabrication for the body just to be able to fit that swinging motion in. So instead of, I've gone along with these bits of pipe, and that will be welded onto that mount that I showed you earlier. Goes up like that, gets bolted on, and then this bit of pipe will be welded on there, and then the rose joint or helm joint, whatever you want to call it, then gets welded onto the end. And I'll have to cut this to length and then notch out part of the car here, and then box in the rest of this. Really need to get the hub in the right spot. Something else I should note before I go to the computer, smallest I can go is 17-inch rim. So I've looked at tyres online and roughly what width, so 17 by 9, what tyres can I get? So there's a website here called Race Division, and my mate Alan, he runs Yokohama, and scrolling down to here, rim fitment range. So this is what I'm going off. Scroll down to your rim size. We've got R17, which is what we're running. So we're in this range here. I'm going to be between 8 and 9.5 inch rim, which would be perfect for this tyre here, which is a 245 40 R17 in the Yokohamas. So here's a cool website as well. It's called tyresize.com, a 245 40 R17 from the Yokohama. Then you hit calculate. It also gives you a visual, which is sweet. And you can change this to millimeters as well. That's what I'll be working with, which is just down here. Jason is the overall height of the tyre, which is 627 millimeters. So half that, and that's the measurement that I need. Another good website, let's quickly mention, tyrestretch.com. You can punch in your rim width, your tyre width, your aspect ratio, your diameter, even the tyre brand now these days. And then you hit apply filters, and you can see here real world examples of what people have done. I'm actually going to cheat and use Copilot AI, and let's see what it comes up with. Divide that by 2 equals 313.5 millimeters. That's the center of the hub. So what I need to do is choose a fixed point on the bottom of the chassis, like the lowest point, because I know that's where I want the 100 meters of ground clearance. And I reckon the lowest point is the sump of the transmission. If I go 100 mil off the bottom of that, that's where the ground's going to be. And then I set my laser level up at that level, and then measure up 213 millimeters from the laser, and that's where I set the hub at. So if I cut myself a bit of timber at 323, .100 millimeters of ground clearance marked off the bottom of the transmission sump. I'll set the laser level up. I'll measure up 213 millimeters from that laser level, and that's where the hub will sit. Bit going on. We got the laser set up at the right height. I've ended up going with 50 millimeter ground clearance. You get the tape measure in the right spot. Spirit level is level. Square is on the center of the hub, and the bottom of it is at the right height on the tape measure. I think that is as close as I'm going to get it, within 5 mil. This bracket here I made earlier, that bolts on there. This spot here where where the trailing arm would hit. So I've got to notch out a bit of that pipe, and then if you can imagine that it would slot kind of past this, but with a notch out of here, and that will give a clearance there so it doesn't hit part of the chassis. So yeah, I'll weld that on there. When it's straight, level, yeah, it does hit up against that. If I have to weld it on an angle like this, then there's going to be clearance. So I'm not going to touch the end of the pipe yet. Yeah, I've just got to work out the anti-squat now and get this in the right position, and then I'll make it adjustable though as well in height, so I can really mess around with it.